All right, so this Unity Basics is going to be about text. Unity Basics text. So how are we going to put text on the screen, move it around, that sort of stuff. Again, this is going to be a 2D project. I'll turn analytics off. And we're not using any asset packages, so this is all we need is a project name. And we'll hit create. Let's see what we got. Actually, we don't even, well, we're not going to be writing any code on this one, but we'll leave MonoDevelop open in the background anyways. Okay, so here we are, our brand new project. And again, if we hit run, if we hit the go button, we're going to get this beautiful blue color. And that's not the best for text. So I'm going to change it just to white. There we go. And now let's make some text. So the easiest way to do text in here is we're going to come over here into our hierarchy, and I'm going to right click and say, we can go down to UI, and then there's a text. And there we go. Now notice we created all sorts of things here. We did create a text, which is important, but we also created a canvas and an event system. So the event system is going to allow us to get clicks and things like that if we need to. The canvas is where we're going to write all of our text to, so it can just render the canvas, and we can move the canvas around if we need to. So specifically for 2D, we need to make a couple changes to the properties of canvas before it'll start to behave like you would expect it to behave. So over here on the properties, the render mode has a few different things. We have screen space overlay, screen space camera, and world space. We're going to do everything for now with screen space camera, which means we need to give our canvas a camera, and all of the elements in that canvas are going to be rendered on top of that camera, so we'll see it all the time. So I'll click on that. And then it wants to know which camera, because you can have multiple cameras in your scene. That's not a problem. But it wants to know which camera are we going to render all of our UI components to, and right now it's set to none. In our scene, we only have one camera, and that's this thing up here, main camera. And so what we're going to do is we're going to assign this main camera to our render camera, and then once that's set, pretty much everything will just sort of start to work. But until we do these first couple of setup things, it's going to be bizarre. Okay, so the way we assign it is we're going to click and drag main camera onto this render camera. So if I just click on main camera, all the properties change to main camera over here. So the idea is you need to click and drag so that the properties of the canvas remain visible. So I'm back with our canvas here, and I'm going to click on the left and then drag it over to the right where it says none camera right here. So if I click on my main camera and just drag it, there it goes. Now it's associated with that. So again, I just clicked and dragged, and now it's linked up. If you're clicking weird, or then the properties are going to change to your camera, and there's nowhere to click it to. So make sure you click on canvas and then click and drag, and you'll link it up. Okay, and with that, now we have right down here, if you can see it, we have our new text. I'm going to click on text. Here's new text. There it is. And here's the text. So I can say something else like hello. And now if we hit play, there it is, hello. Okay. And so now it's going to behave just like you would think it would behave. I can move it around. There it is up there. And that sort of stuff. We can change the font size if we want to make it bigger. Style, you can make it bold, all of those sorts of things. All kinds of fun things. By default, you only get one font. You get Arial, and you can change the colors and stuff. Change the box size. But you only get one font, which can be a little bit boring. So let me show you how to bring in new fonts. If you go to, grab a Chrome tab here. So let's just say you have another font somewhere. If you go, let's go to 1001 free fonts and find us a font. Let me see here. If we have anything that has, looking for something in like the public domain. But anyways, you can find all these. Look at the license because you don't want to use something that has a bad license. Let's see, donationware. recreational use, personal use. I'll just keep going through here. See if I can find, here we go, public domain, that works. So here we go. We will download this one, Technico. And if I show in Finder, and so I just open it up in Finder, I will extract it. And it's going to give us some TTFs. And then what you can do with your TTFs is just drag them into your assets window. So I'm going to grab this, is what I downloaded, and just drag it into my assets folder. And so again, this came in a zip file, I unzipped it, and then I was able to get the TTF and drag it into assets. Then what I can do is when I click on my text, I can assign, here's my font, Arial, I can assign it to this now, like that. And then now it's changing to a different font. There we go. Hello. The other thing I do in my canvas is I always change it to scale with the screen size, because that way when we go to different resolutions, if you're going to put it on the web or put it on a phone or whatever, that the scaling actually turns out right. And you notice that the font doesn't look all goofed up anymore. It was looking kind of strange. And so that's another thing that I change on my canvas properties. So when we create a new canvas, the three things that I change render mode to screen space camera. We drag in our main camera to here. And then UI scale mode, I say scale with screen size. And you can give whatever reference resolution you want, but I'll just keep it like the defaults. And then we have our fonts. There we go. And again, you can change the colors if you want to. Whatever, pretty simple. And this will get you pretty far along with creating, pretty nice things by putting all your different fonts on here. And you can make it look pretty good. Let's see what else. Canvas also has an order and layer, just like all of our sprites had. So if you want this to be in front of everything, make sure your order and layers, a high number. That way it will always show up in front. But if you want it to slide behind some objects, then you can adjust this thing. You can have as many canvases as you want. So for whatever reason, if you feel like you need more than one canvas, you can do that. Let's see. If you want, if you want more things to happen with your fonts, you can go to the asset store. So if you don't have this asset store tab, you can go to Window, Asset Store. And if you search in here for, what is the name of that thing? Font. No, not that. I am drawing a blank. What is the name of this thing? No, text. What is it? There is something very useful here. And when I find it, you will be really impressed. What the heck? Do I have anything that might have any documents? There it is. Text mesh. Oops. Text Mesh Pro. There it is. So if you want to do things like this, really cool looking fonts and animate text and do all these different things, this Text Mesh Pro is available. It's free. You can bring it into your Unity project by just hitting import, and it gives you, there's a lot of how-tos and tutorials about how to actually do really cool looking text. And so that's something. I got a bunch of YouTube channels about how to do different things. So definitely, if you want more fancy text effects and looking text, download Text Mesh Pro. Don't forget the name, and bring it in, and that'll make your scene really good. Actually, I can just hit import right now. So if I hit import, I'll just show you what's going to happen. It's going to ask us to do all of this stuff, and I'll just hit import. And it's going to write package items, import assets, and it's still importing assets. Sure. And you can poke around in the asset store. You can find all kinds of cool stuff to bring in, all kinds of scripts and images and all sorts of fun stuff. But this Text Mesh Pro it's really powerful. It is a little bit tedious to use. Like you have to spend a little bit of time trying to figure out all the intricacies of how things work, but it is really, really cool. So here we have our Text Mesh Pro. It showed up down here in Assets. And they've got all these different things here, including examples. So I'm going to go to example scenes. And before I switch scenes, I'm going to save my current scenes. So Command S. And it wants to know a name of my scene. I'm just going to call it one and get back to it. But now you can come into here and check out any of these different scenes. Like, I don't know, like this one. I just double clicked on it and then I can hit play. And I think, let's see. Yeah, there you go. So this is some things that they did, like kind of 3D effects looking. They had, what is this? There you go. If you want to do things like this and changing colors, there's all kinds of weird things. And so you can look through all of this and check out how this stuff works. If you just click on Text Mesh Pro, I think there was user guide. So here's like a PDF that explains how to work everything, because it can get a little bit confusing as it's got all of these different buttons and things over here and stuff you can change and different shaders and things. So anyways, that's Text Mesh Pro. If you want fancy looking fonts, you can do pretty much anything you can dream of. The other thing you can do is always just build your text in Photoshop. And then import it as PNG, kind of slap it on top of stuff. But if you want to do any kind of dynamic text, which maybe we'll get to that a little bit later, you may need to generate this stuff on the fly. It's also much easier to just include a TrueType font in your project as opposed to rendering out every single piece of text that you're going to have if you're doing really gigantic things. It also makes it easier for translations and things like that to use TrueType fonts than having separate PNGs for everything. But anyways, that was a little bit of text. We did the basic stuff, messed around with the canvas just a little bit. We'll do more with canvas a little bit later with buttons and things. And that's it.